Medusa just launched Bloom. Medusa just launched Bloom, which is their AI-powered tool for building e-commerce stores from a prompt. Now, if that sounds familiar, V0, Lovable, Bolt, yeah, it's generally the same idea, but what's different here? Well, Bloom is designed by Medusa, which we'll talk about here in a second. And what they do is they train this model based on e-commerce information. So it's geared towards things, as they claim, such as mega menus or anything else that is specific to the e-commerce realm. So checkouts, complex storefront flows, things like that. So we have seen that AI can generate websites. So this is not going to be, can AI generate a website? We know that it can. What we're going to talk about today is what makes Bloom different from all of those other tools. Is the idea of e-commerce trained AI prompting a gimmick, or is it actually real? Is it just hype, or is it something that we can actually rely on? So we're going to explore that here in a little bit. So we're going to figure out what makes this better than any of those other AI tools out there. So Medusa sponsored this stream, so I got to play around with this a little bit earlier, but it should be generally available now. Let's find out what makes it different. So first, let's start with what Medusa is. So Medusa is an e-commerce platform for developers and agents. So they're really focusing in on the AI side of development here. So it's an open source tool. It's built using code, so it's code first. Right up my alley. Love code first stuff. Open source, developer focused, headless. So all of that to say, this is a live test. I have messed around with the platform very loosely, but this is not a tutorial. We're going to dive in and I'm going to form opinions as I go. So we have a little bit about Medusa now, but we're not really concerned about Medusa as an actual platform. We're concerned about Bloom here. So Bloom, we can take a look at this page here. You can see that it has starters. It's very sparse in what it has for text, but you can see AI-powered commerce assistant by Medusa. So we talked about that. It's endlessly customizable, which is what one of Medusa's selling points is as a headless code-first shop anyway. So that is carried over into Bloom as well. And it's trained on e-commerce models or e-commerce code. So very heavily influenced by what's necessary for e-commerce, and your admin and store are all in the same place. You can start for free or have a $30 per month plan, 50 credits per month, or 10 credits per month for free. So we're not going to talk about the FAQ. We're going to dive in. So first thing I need to do is log in. And I want to log in with my email. Let's try actually. Suggest new password, login. Oh, sign up. That would be helpful. Let's continue with email. Then we'll do all of this, use strong password, create account. Not going to update that. So I've got 10 credits left. We're going to start, and just like anything else, we can't just send in like these example prompts here. It says, ask Bloom to build a web shop that sells skincare products. That's not going to get us the shop that we want. So I want to build something real that I might actually use. And one of those things might be a store that sells digital products. So obviously I do this YouTube thing. I could sell courses, I could sell PDFs, I could sell just about anything, but I'm not going to have any kind of physical products. But I might do things like subscriptions. I might do things like PDFs, free resources, things like that. So I'm going to pull up Super Whisper. And we're going to talk a prompt into this prompt box. So let's think about this a little bit. Actually, I'm not. I'm just going to go for it. I need, allow. Let's try that again. I need a web store that allows me to sell digital products for my YouTube channel, Code with Nick. I am a modern web dev YouTube creator, covering things like Next.js, Medusa.js, payload, and more. I need the ability to handle subscriptions, PDFs, courses, and anything else a tech influencer might need. We'll start with that. I hated saying tech influencer there. So I need a web store that allows me to go to Nick. I am a modern web dev, YouTube creator covering things like Next.js, payload, and more. I need the ability to handle subscriptions, PDF courses, and everything else a tech influencer might need. I can add a little bit more. I typically use the emerald color or green color from Tailwind, so I would like to keep up with that, as well as having the ability to include a dark mode. I think that's really about all I need. So courses, PDFs, this is a pretty good one, good prompt to start with. Now, I will say the first time I did this, I prompted with just the example prompts that they gave of like, just build me a store. I used build a store for computer parts. It took so long and it did not really understand what it was doing. So here I'm hoping to have a little bit more success as I have a longer prompt. So here we're just looking at we've got the chat on the left, yes, of course. Then we have our thing preview on the right, which is just showing me feature highlights. I would rather see what's happening behind the scenes here. So it says building your project. That's not exactly helpful. I'd like to see what it's thinking about and what it's doing. And while it's doing this, let's see if this is even going to be possible to do. So if I sign in with V0, I'm going to give it the same prompt because why not? Okay, look, reasoning popped in. That's good to see. So I'm going to copy that prompt and we're going to compare side by side and see what this does. I am logged in. Okay, perfect. Okay, I don't care about all that. All right, so I'm gonna have V0 go and do its thing as well. So here now we're seeing that it's calling tools, it's doing its to-do list, so things that you expect to see from LLMs that are building based off prompts. So what would really be nice is being able to see work happening. So with this, just looking at it, and it's the same thing here with V0, which is actually interesting. I didn't think that this was the case. I would like to see code being generated or something over in the preview, like doing something. Otherwise, it feels like it takes a while. So I see now that files are being created. That's great to see. The emerald dark theme, so it's taking instructions really well. But it would be nice to see those instructions converted into something visual sooner. And I'm hoping something pops up here in a minute. So we have V0 doing the same thing, same prompt, everything. And it's really just giving me the same thing. It's saying updating emerald theme. And it's not really giving me much beyond that. So now I have two AI prompting engines building me something visual with no visual feedback. So I think that's interesting. We'll see and compare the results. Maybe I just have too high of expectations for what this is able to do right now, and that's okay. I'm fine with that as long as the results seem to get me what I'm looking for. All right, so now we just wait. Creating homepage. This is creating a footer. This is the fun part of doing live stream stuff. Just honestly why I wish this was giving me something visual so I could have something to react to in real time while this is going. Because right now, it's just giving me, like it's telling me what it's doing. It's getting all the components in order and getting all that stuff set up. But I don't have anything to mess with yet. So we will just have to wait and see what's going on. I am interested to see which one finishes first. So I started Bloom earlier, and then V0 is still going as well. I started this one just a little bit later. And so as soon as all of this generates, I don't really have like set criteria that I'm going to judge this by. So there's going to be some eye test. There's going to be some just gut feeling of how things look and how things act and how things are organized and if it makes sense. And the way that we'll be able to compare both of these is we'll be thinking about Bloom, which is supposed to be giving me feedback or returning a project that is very focused on e-commerce and built for e-commerce, which I'm having it build that store. Whereas V0 is a little bit more broad. It's not something that's specific to e-commerce. So this is where we're trying to see if the advantage really is in Bloom's favor here. One thing we can also see is somewhere, well, for Bloom, I can see my credit usage. So I've used 1.8 of 10 here. And then I can't really see my usage here. Oh, there we go. So I get more usage from Bloom, so that's nice. But yeah, so we'll see if the code is clean. We'll see if the admin dashboard works. I don't even know if Vercel's going to give me an admin dashboard. We'll see if it looks like a real storefront. And then, of course, how long this takes, which is a little bit longer than I thought. And then after that, we'll put these things to the test. So we're going to stress test and see if we can break it. See how customizable we can get things, if there's anything commerce specific in the Bloom that is just assumed and it takes care of for me without me saying so, compared to something like V0. And other things like there's a selection mode both in V0 and in Medusa or Bloom where I can select what I want to use. And then, yeah, we'll see what else happens. So to be clear, this is more of a Bloom review than anything else, but it would be disappointing if I didn't compare it to the common tools of the trade. All right, task 4 of 6 here. And this doesn't tell me how many tasks, but it's creating digital products for me. Love that. Can I see what pages have been generated already? No, I cannot. And that's the same thing here. I can't see anything. So I've used about 5 credits here almost. So even with a long prompt that's super detailed, it's still pretty heavy on consumption there. And then here, it's a little bit lighter, it seems, on consumption. But then again, I don't know if it's going to have all of the information that I want here from V0. So like an admin panel is assumed from Bloom, but it is not assumed in V0. All right. One other thing that happened, and this happens, I think, with any kind of like under detailed prompt, is Bloom kind of went in circles trying to, like, it was taking a screenshot and it couldn't see that text existed because it was dark text on a dark background for dark mode. So hopefully that's worked itself out, but I'm hoping since I gave it color guidance, it's not going to have that same issue. So here it says it's taking a screenshot and it's going to look. There are some TypeScript issues. It's using TanStack router. That's interesting. It's not using next like I would have assumed it would use. So we now have V0 spinning through some stuff. All right, so it says it's live now. Just need it to pop up here any second now. There we go. So this is not my YouTube channel, but you know, I didn't tell it what my YouTube channel was. That's cool. So hover over products and I can see something featured and then all products. Then they even made images in the same color palette that I gave it. So that's really cool. You can see it has dark mode. Does it have a way to, what regions? It came with a bunch of default regions. It does not have a light and dark mode toggle as far as I can see, which is not the end of the world for me. But that's something that we can add. Let's see if V0 is done. So I didn't start V0 too much longer after Bloom. That tells me Bloom worked way faster. Well, not way faster. It worked faster. So we can go to the admin panel. And of course, I don't expect this to load very snappy as an embedded website. So I'm not too worried about that. This is still loading. So far, point to Bloom on speed. So we've got a back end and we've got a storefront. That's good. We've got Vite, Tailwind, Source. So yep, it's TanStack. Again, very interesting choice. I'm so used to frameworks or things like this to generate a lot of, like it's still React, but to generate Next.js code, not to do something completely outside of like the normal modern web dev zeitgeist. So that's really refreshing to see that it's not Next, honestly. So we can refresh, try to get our admin page to load. V0 is finishing up, it looks like. And we just keep on waiting for admin to load. I wonder, hold on, so admin. Let's try going to like an admin panel. Go home. Covered, all right, start learning today. Next.js, and it's weird that it built a TanStack front end e-commerce store and has a Next.js e-commerce masterclass instead of TanStack. So very interesting. Production code, modern stack. I like some of like the small details that this did, like the hover state is there, ready to level up. I like the language that it's using. Learning modern web dev with Code with Nick. I wish it, well, I guess it's thousands. People are learning how to code with me. That's cool. We've got Code with Nick as GitHub. I don't have Twitter, or at least I'm not on it very often. And then all products. So really the things that I need to look, because this needs to be populated and that can only be populated, I assume, from the admin. But let's look at the code. There are some int tests and the source. Let's look at the front end to see if there's any, so there's images here. So that's an interesting place to put the Tailwind config in images. So interesting. Then we've got our scripts, which yes, is a script. This is our generating static routes. And we've got our source, components. I assume that this is all shadc in. Yes, let's see if it knows if, let's go to, I don't see a components. Let's do the package.json. So it's using radix. I was trying to see if maybe it used shadcn with base UI, but it looks like it's using radix UI instead. Doesn't mean it's not using shadcn, it just means that radix is here. We've got our routes. I'm gonna have it remove countries though. So we have pages with cart, category, checkout, and home. So let's take a look. V0 is, okay, V0 is up. All right, we'll compare these side by side here in a second. We're here to review Bloom, so we're going to take a look at Bloom first. So most of the code looks fine. So UI I'm not going to review because this is all basic, like normal component stuff. I was just trying to find a component, like components file, essentially. So then we have an address form. This looks pretty clean. Yeah, I don't really see anything that's out of place. There are a couple comments here and there. First name for a placeholder, last name. Let's look for accessibility things as well. So not a whole lot of like semantic HTML. Like these divs, yes, they're organizational, but they're also, there are breaks in each section. So these could be sections instead of divs. But it is all just for the address form itself. So we're not going to go through each of those components. We just kind of want to see what things are looking like. We've got code here. And we're getting them from our Medusa types. Again, tan stack. So that makes sense. Again, looks clean. A few custom Tailwind classes. GB types. So these are coming from Medusa itself. Let's look for our products, which is right here. And product actions. Let's disable Grammarly. Never mind. We're going to keep it. So code looks good here as well, but digital product. But why are we including our products unless this is a placeholder? Product.tsx. Like, why would it be a static page? Products handle. Okay, maybe it's not. So we'll take a look here in a second. All right, homepage. We get our products from our home loader data. View all products, product grid, which we get. Okay, and there's a product card, which I can't click into, but if I go to my components, let's look at our product card. There it is. So this could go either way. Semantically, a card could be an article, but if it's a link, that's fine too. All right, so can we load up the admin route now? Because I would like to see this in action. So let's leave this here for a second. And let's come here to V0. So I have errors. I don't see any errors over here, but I do know that it did come up with some TypeScript errors, so we'll come back to that. We've got to sign in. It does come with a light and dark mode handler, or I guess toggle. So I do like that. It has pricing. Okay. Courses. Products. Okay, so I don't think anything is happening. So preview, that's the home page, that's fine. Cart, so the toggle works. This is not a link that works. Browse products. Doesn't work. We do have all of these. I don't expect these to have pages. Cool. Made up reviews. So this looks like every landing page we'd expect to see. Came with YouTube. Here it didn't even try with my links. It knows my, or it thinks it knows my YouTube channel, but it didn't include it there. It has all of these dead links that you would expect that it would fill in, at least even with placeholder text. Then, yeah, so I'd expect some of these to work, especially since if we go to our app products, yeah, products has stuff set up, so none of that worked though. Then pricing and courses, both made in Next.js e-commerce, so that's interesting. This made it all in Next, of course. Makes sense for Vercel. It's got styles. I don't see an admin route, so sign in is dead as well. So here I wonder if my issue is Safari, not necessarily that it's not working, or it just won't work in an embedded website. So here we are. We have our admin. I can look at my products and I see we have a couple of these. So let's go back to our store and we can look at our e-commerce master class and let's go here to the variant. And I can see some pricing. If I want to edit the pricing, let's say I'm a little bit greedier than this and we'll make this $249 and then this just $239. And then hit save. So now if I refresh this, I should have refreshed it from here. That made me nervous. 99, $249. So it updated my pricing there. So if I click on this, I can see I can view details. I can add to cart. Cart pops up. I can go to the cart, and then I can start the checkout process. And if I go to products, I don't have any featured products, but if I go to my masterclass here, what can I put, or how can I put this as my featured? All right, just countable, yes. Subtitle, doesn't really matter. Price lists, promotions, okay, interesting. So we'll figure that out in a second. Already this kind of leaves at least V0 in the dust. I don't have any of this. This used 5.5 credits or 4.5 credits. This used less than 2, so that's not bad. But that got us pretty far here. We have a checkout. I want to find the featured, which I probably just don't know where it is. Media options. So I don't have any variants that I'm really going to use here. So a lot of this is helpful stuff, obviously, for physical products as well. So things to keep like attributes, height, width, length, all of that. Not super important for me. Categories. Search. All right, so I don't actually know how to change the menu. Maybe it's in settings. Store users, regions. Okay, so let's go to our code. And on our storefront, we're going to look at our source, probably components, navbar. So how does this figure out the featured? Oh, well, Here we can check products, and let's use this. Okay, so that doesn't actually help. But I could do the same thing over here. I should have... Oh, do I not have the ability to select things? I thought I did in V0. Maybe I don't for free, I don't know. But like I thought I could select things. Very interesting. So that's not great. All right, so let's ask a follow-up for V0 to see if we can get it caught up to Bloom, for example. So products, browse products. All right, so we're gonna ask a follow-up. None of the links do anything, period. Is there a way to build an admin panel that will handle this for me? Something like what Medusa.js handles out of the box. So I'm going to leave that how it is. And then for Bloom, I need to figure out how to adjust the mega menu. So we're going to ask it a couple things because we're light years ahead of what V0 is going to do for us. So here we're going to stress test it a little bit. Let's think. First, how do I change the featured product in the products mega menu drop down? Then I don't necessarily need more regions than just the US. Is there a way to do purchase power parity in this shop? How can I create discounts for my products? Let's start with that. All right, so come back over to V0 and see what it says to me. So speed, right now, Bloom won that. Not only did it get up to speed faster by about a minute or two, so it's not like drastically faster, but it came with an admin panel. It did exactly what I wanted for the menu and for the color and for really just about anything. It's like a fully functioning store right out of the box. So promise check, that's good. V0 did not deliver. So good. It took a couple more minutes and just didn't do anything. The storefront, it looks real. Like I would shop on this store. So outside of the links that I didn't give it links, it just did it anyway. I would, adjust what links things went to, but outside of that, this is a store. It's got a promo code, it's got checkout, it's got cart. The products have pages, everything works great. The only thing I couldn't figure out was the featured product, but that's super minor and something that could be adjusted with human judgment. Admin dashboard is super useful for Medusa, but that makes sense. That's kind of Medusa's whole thing. Did not get an admin panel with V0. I won't beat that dead horse anymore. And then the code it produced, first glance, pretty good. So I'm sure there's some stuff I could fix in there. But here, like, this is general code. Like, this looks fine for V0. I'm not too concerned about code quality from either of these. So back to this, we're going to start stress testing now. So this, we're starting to go a little bit beyond what the original prompt was, and V0 is already stuck. So it's asking questions. I'm cool with questions. I'd rather it ask, but I would like to integrate with Supabase, sure. What admin sections do you want included? Full suite. I got that from Medusa. I should get that from you. All right, so I have a bunch of questions from Medusa. All right, so let's just copy this and paste it. That's not at all what I was expecting. What is happening? All right. So maybe I won't copy and paste that. So currently it's a placeholder. I can make it dynamic so it pulls a future product. Would you like me to fetch the newest product? Specify a product handle in the code. Create an admin setting for this. I want option C, so I'm going to ask it for option C. Since you only need the US region, I can simplify the store by removing 2, yes. So 1, option C. 2, yes. 3, doesn't have built-in PPP. The typical approach would be create separate regions for different countries with adjusted prices. That would make it really easy for someone, though, to go to a country with a different purchase power parity. So I don't really like that. It's not something that I think I would do here, but maybe I could just do a discount code, like one-time discount code for, oh, that's one of the suggestions here. Fair pricing request form where people can request a discount. 3, let's go with fair pricing. And then 4, creating discounts, you can create discounts. And then 4, yes, create samples. So we've got Bloom working on a little bit more of a complex feature, which is a dynamic setting for the featured post, or a featured product anyway. So we'll have it do that. V0 is working on installing Supabase. So I wonder what database Bloom is using here. So let's see if I can go to the code without breaking things. Is it like a local? We could. I don't see a. So it's a mono repo. That's cool. It did that. But yeah, I don't see a database. There's seed, get ignore, package.json, Medusa. Really interesting. So it's a local database or something then. Medusa config. I mean, could be a bucket that it's doing this in. I don't think so, though. All right, we may need to dig into that a little bit more. But right now, we have Medusa building out a few things. And then we have V0 still trucking along. I assume making an admin panel. One other thing I want Bloom to do before I forget, we need a light and dark mode toggle. So I won't send that through yet, but that is just one thing that I wanted. So now I'm trying to test what the customization is like. So here I don't have the point and click like I thought I did with V0. But I do have point and click here with Medusa, which we'll explore in a little bit as well to get really fine-tuned with our edits, assuming we have enough credits, because I'm running pretty low. So that would be a shame to run low on or run out of credits while I'm still trying to stress test this. So there's a selection mode. We'll take a look at that. The commerce-specific features, we already saw that we can't do purchase power parity, but we can do a form, fair pricing form, for example. So it is coming up with smart solutions to my problems. But to its credit, it's already way past what V0 is doing for me. So we're almost out of credits here as well. And it just built out a plan for my admin panel. So go ahead and build it. Here we've got the form being created. And we can see here that we can sync with GitHub. I did not connect my GitHub. I don't plan on connecting my GitHub because I don't plan on deploying this anywhere. But there is a way to just publish, but you have to upgrade your plan. So very interesting there. Sync with GitHub. You have to upgrade to sync with GitHub as well. So I could just copy all this code. That would be kind of a hassle, but it's doable. It's something that I could do. But I thought I was able to do, got 0.56 credits left. That's going to be a problem here in a second. Yeah, I wonder if I can push to code if I have, or push to GitHub if I was connected to GitHub. So it says own your code, but if I don't have an easy way to push to GitHub, that's a harder claim to validate. So here, I think we're about to run out of credits, but it looks like it's just about done with my initial to-do list. And then V0, I expect to run out of credits very shortly here as well. So let's see if this will let me finish. Oh, I went over my credits, so that's cool. We'll see. We'll push that a little bit and see what I'm able to get away with. Oh, there's the design for this chat. Will be re-enabled soon. I wonder if this is, I see the design mode toggle now. So I wonder if this is for, if I'm not able to do this while it's generating code. So it's doing a thing, and we have about 3/4 of a credit left. Medusa here, Bloom is just going, and it's over by 1.5 credits. So enjoying a fair bit of bonus time here. I don't expect that to be something that is continued beyond the initial push here. So now it's verifying with screenshots. It's trying to change one of the prices that I changed, but that's okay. No, it's changing them back. Whatever, that's fine. You can be cheap. I'm not too worried about it. But it does update my products, so that's cool. All right, we've got V0 here. And we're not there yet. Created seed data. 0.46 credits left. Okay, good. I don't have any payment methods attached, but that did mess up my chat, it seems. Okay, so Bloom still going. All right, looks like it's good now. And we see we're well into bonus time here. Let's see if we can get away with one more prompt. In the top right corner. Ah, I can't. All right, so it finished the chat for me, so that's nice. But then I hit my limit. So we're now 50 minutes into this stream, and I have had two fairly decently sized chats. So yes, it's so it's a fair amount of usage for this, but I got a lot out of it. All right, so to answer your question, sir, when this course will launch, this is just an example. I actually am not doing this e-commerce masterclass. I am working on a payload essentials course, though, and that should launch in March. End of March is what I'm targeting. And then for this, the pricing, I assume it's going to be Stripe. So this is all just generated from prompts. So this is an example. It's a preview of the new tool Bloom from Medusa, and that's all this is. All right, so if we look at products, I now see that the most recent or the featured product is here. And if I go to my admin, excuse me, I can go to my products and let's see extensions. Okay, so it made an extension for my fair pricing and store settings. I don't know what this is though. An error occurred. Interesting, fair pricing. So a couple of errors occurring here. It did not give me a finished product on these two extensions. So that's not stellar. We got our price lists, promotions. We've got fair price 50%. So let's, oh, copies for me, great. Let's go here. We're gonna add this to cart. Go to cart, add promo code fair price, and it should cut it in half. We can remove one of these, and now fair price is that. So that's great. Let's click on the fair pricing, request a discount. I don't think this is going to be attached to anything yet. So select country, it'll tell me all of this other stuff. And then, yes, ask a little bit of information. This is a pretty decent service level agreement, so I'm cool with that. YouTube is still wrong, but that's fine. So great. Who can use this code? Currency code equals US dollar. But I think that's probably all it's going to give me. I could give this once or... Yeah, so I can use it once, add a condition if I wanted to. JSON, 15 keys, okay. I don't have any customers, no inventory because I just have digital products. No collections and no categories, that's fine. Now if I edit this, I still don't see a featured tag. Let's go into the variant. So here's the JSON. So let's see if it tells me what it does. So featured admin store settings in the sidebar. So that did not create what I needed. So that's unfortunate. So stress test, that's what we were trying to do, find where this breaks. I ran out of credits before the store could fully complete based on what I want. So unfortunate, but it did get me pretty close. Let's take a look at V0. We can accept. And we're just about out of credits. Let's see if this gives me the same grace period that I got from Bloom. There's V0's limit. Always accept a V0. Okay, so I did not get any grace from V0. So as soon as I run out of that $5 is gone. For Bloom, I did get some bonus time, so that was nice. I was not expecting it. I also would not recommend that you expect it, but for me, it was enough to get at least a second prompt all the way through. When I say all the way through, though, the store settings did not show up properly. Before I say that, actually, let's go to the admin panel here and open that in a new tab. So this is essentially a refresh. If I go to store settings, yep, all right. So I did not have a chance to validate and make sure that all of this worked. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It did remove my, well, US is still there, so can I get rid of US? So it still adds US to the, for compatibility, but always defaults to US. So That means I don't have a country selector anymore. I only have the US as a listed supported country with currency, but I have a fair pricing form here for people to submit. And then the discounts, we just checked it. We have a couple where you can get 20% off your entire order, can have fair pricing and launch promos as well. And then product prices we can change. Now, is this tool able to add admin panel too? Yes. So Bloom by Medusa comes with a Medusa backend. So this whole Medusa store here was generated for me. I did not have to create this. I did not have to prompt for it like I was trying to do for V0 here. So I'm stuck here though because I can't do anything else. It did not create an admin panel for me. If I go to admin, I might get a login page. Let's see what happens. I can try signing up. It won't let me sign up. So let's just do... Yep, so can't do anything there. But yeah, so V0 didn't do the stuff, ran out of credits, and then it stopped. So Bloom got me a very decent looking shop. I'm happy with what this looks like. I would change the images and then publish it. But really pleased with how this came out. Would need to fix a few of the links here. The products I would want to build that out, but the shopping cart experience is great. I would need to figure out how to link my payment provider, but I figure that's not going to be too difficult. A couple of the downsides is that I wasn't able to finish the admin panel where I would get fair pricing and store settings. So that's unfortunate. But we saw it in action against Vercel. We saw it against V0, so you now know how it compares against what a AI generated website would look like compared to like a fully featured, mostly fully featured store through Bloom with minimal prompting. I gave it some details and it came up with a pretty good website here. So Google Studio, it's free for now. I don't think I have used it. Let's see, Google Studio. So I have not used this. Let's see how this compares to Bloom. So we're going to use the same prompt that we started with. This is one that I have not worked with before, so we're going to start with Google AI Studio, give that a shot. So we're going to give this really a fair shake against Bloom as well, but really pleased with how Bloom came together. So playground is 100 tokens. Oh, token usage. Okay. All right, so we've got Bloom, my Medusa. What else do we have here? For developers, is this faster than just scaffolding a Medusa project and using your IDE Copilot? I would say yes. So instead of, this has the context of a Medusa store. So I think it understands how to build these projects and scaffold the back end without me trying to coax a Copilot or like JetBrains, Junie, or even Claude Code to do this. I don't know if it would be faster, but I feel that how this handled all of the code and how it interpreted the prompt definitely gives it an advantage over doing this locally. Is this something that would be usable for someone without any kind of technical background? Probably. I just described the shop. You would need to have some understanding of how LLMs work and how you need to communicate with them. Otherwise, you may not prompt enough or give it enough details, and then you'll just go in circles. But luckily, with Bloom here, it seems like it would go into bonus time to complete the prompt compared to something like V0 or I'm sure like Lovable or Bolt that would cut you off. We saw it with V0, just cut me off completely. So I did not try to deploy this because I would need to publish it and sync it to GitHub. So that is one area where, like, if there was a free version that I could deploy this to, that would be nice to see. All right, so let's see how Google AI Studio is doing. I'm going to use temporary chat because I don't want to store this. What do you need? All right, so is this here? Let's build. Let's build with a higher end model. Framework doesn't really matter, but we'll go with that. So maybe I just used the wrong thing, so we won't allow that. All right, so now this is a very familiar look here. So we're going to compare this to Bloom now and give this really a fair shake in how we are testing and assessing Bloom. So far, I do really like Bloom in creating my shop. So great job, Medusa. Think it's great. I would recommend it if you're trying to build an e-commerce shop using an AI prompt. So we will see how this does. Did not see that there was a build thing here, but we'll give this a little time to think. We'll compare it. We'll give it another prompt. Everything gets 2 prompts. And then I think we'll discuss the pros and cons of Bloom, come to a verdict, like an actual judgment of how it works, and then see what happens. So I don't really have high hopes for this one for Google AI Studio. Gemini's fine, but this I feel is not going to have nearly as much context as something like V0 or even Bloom had. So Bloom, for example, is trained on all that e-commerce data. Like, that makes sense. It's going to know what to do to build an e-commerce store. V0 has a bunch of information about how to build a website. Now, for Google AI Studio, I don't know what it's trained on. Gemini is a very generic LLM. It's almost ChatGPT-ish. So it has a bunch of Google information, though, so that's great. But is it going to be able to compete with these more premier models? Which right now, stack rank, I would say Bloom is at the top. And I'm not just saying that. I think Bloom is at the top. V0, if we weren't testing a third, would be at the bottom. But now we are testing a third model, and we're going to see how that does. So I don't know what this is doing. Okay, interesting. So one thing that I do like right now is that this is not just generic features. So Bloom did just have those generic features that it scrolled through, but here it's actually taking, I mean, it's not great, so it works, but it's giving me tips for what I can do. So deploy your app. So add a course platform integration. Sure, let's add that to the chat. Implement a subscription tier system. Sure, add that to the chat. Publish to GitHub. I could do that. It should already be designing in Emerald Green and Tailwind with the dark mode. So we're going to save that one and not add it. So it says add to chat, but then I was expecting this to add to the actual chat here. So we're going to wait to actually add these prompts. So we are about 4 minutes into this run with Gemini 3.1. We have 2 files. Can I see the code now? I like this. I can see the code. It hasn't even generated 2 files, and it's been 4 minutes. So I'm sorry, that's not fair. It generated a folder as well. So we will continue to watch. Oh, there we go. It has more. That's great. So it has some products. It was doing something. I'm sorry, I should have given it some more time. Yeah, so we will keep an eye out for that, but I really like this. So let's go look at our products. Let's go over here. So products, we're going to create a new product. We'll call this Payload Essentials. Handle should be added, hopefully automatically. Yep. And this is a course that has all you need to learn how to code with Payload and Next.js. This is not a product with variants. I won't include a media just so we can see what that looks like. I can hit continue. Discountable, sure. It's not a type, category, or a collection. I wish I could add a collection or a category here. I'm sure I could extend it, but eh. All right, and then continue, and there's no div, no variants, so I'm just gonna publish it. And then if I go to Bloom by Medusa, I can go to products, all products, and I see that Payload Essentials shows up here. I did not give it a price though, so why don't we change that? Sales channel. Oh, that's going to be in the variant, so I need to create, not create, I need to continue. Let's edit, add a price somewhere. Click into the variant. Prices, there we go. Let's edit. Just something like that. So it still has pricing for European, but I don't want that. But I can't remove it right now because I ran out of credits. Now, if I go here, it's still not going to be an image, but I will. Shouldn't have refreshed there. If I go to my products. Okay, just wanted to see. Payload Essentials. Now has a price. This is all true statements. So then I can add it to the cart. This is very fast. So I really like that. And it automatically took off the discount code that's already in the cart. So that's really interesting too. Glad it did that. All right, Google AI Studio. You are now working on your 4th file. I don't see anything in CSS there. So I have a feeling that this is going to take a long time. So we can look back after my first prompt here. I wonder if it tells me how long it worked for. Oh, don't go back in history, please. Oh, no. What have I done? Oh, easy fix, though. I thought. I would like to fix that, please. Okay, well, we are on an old commit now, and that's fine. I can survive, but then that means that this is wrong as well. So this is going to take a long time. That's what I've gathered. V0, which I know is slower than Bloom for its first prompt. Didn't make it through a second prompt, if we remember. And I don't think pages are still working. They're not. All right, so we have, this took 10 minutes, so about 11 minutes. So we know that this probably took about 8 or 9 minutes, and Google AI Studio is at 8 minutes, and I don't have anything. So we're not going to review Google alongside this because I don't think that it has the it's going to have slowness, but I can leave this running. But at the end of the day, I have one finished store, one storefront with no admin panel, and then 7 files. So not sure how useful this is, but maybe it is just because it's slow right now, and maybe because I chose the Frontier model rather than a faster model. But hey, who knows? Maybe this will churn out something nice. I am not super confident with that, but we'll see. I mean, the products, it's not even a dynamic place to put products. It's a TypeScript file. But at least it's TypeScript, so I like that. All right. So final verdict. Bloom works. It does exactly what Medusa says it does. It works quickly. It worked more quickly than the rest of our products here. So it worked faster than V0. I didn't try Bolt or Lovable, but I assume that they're going to be about the same. And it worked way faster than Google has so far. I'm running out of stuff to yap about. That's how long Google is taking. So maybe revisit that. I don't know. So out of this test, Bloom wins. So it is a good platform, does exactly what it says it's going to do, and it does it very specifically for e-commerce. So it's not something more broad and generic like V0 would be, but it's actually very specific to what you need for e-commerce and for e-commerce to be successful. So all of that in favor of Bloom there. So AI e-commerce, these kinds of tools in general, the more vibe codey tools, for lack of a better word, it's interesting because it makes sense that they exist. Non-technical users want to have access to products that allow them to either prototype very quickly or at least to get like something up and running super fast. So great use for Bloom by Medusa. I think that makes sense, especially for anybody who wants to be not tied to things like Shopify or WooCommerce. So I get it. I think it should exist. Good platform, highly recommend. I do think it's going to be a good addition to the AI race right now. For those who are developers, who are more on the professional side of development, probably something that you might get inspiration from or ideas for, but you might have an easier time setting up Medusa yourself or trying to get a starter that already exists and working from that. So all of those are good things. Not every app is built for every person, so that makes sense. So honestly, I enjoyed this. I liked working with Bloom. It was nice to be able to build out an e-commerce store. Things I would have done differently, sure, but I could have prompted better. If I had more credits, I would have prompted better. So maybe I could have managed my credits a little bit better. All of these things up for debate. Happy to talk that out. But I do think that Bloom was a good experience overall. I recommend that you try it out as well. If you have not tried it out already, you can do that at bloom.chat. You can let me know what you build in the comments. I am excited to work with it a little bit more, as I actually do need to build out a store for digital products like courses and PDFs and other things like that. I'm kind of honestly still waiting for Google to see if it can finish and do something. It's on the app.tsx now, so maybe we'll actually get something we can look at. So I'm trying to slowly back away from this stream. So we'll give it a couple more minutes here. Let me get some water. I'm looking forward to this finishing and then giving me some type errors. That's just kind of what I'm expecting at this point. But unless it starts working on a like routing system, I don't know what it's going to do. It doesn't even have Tailwind installed. Like, what is it expecting to do for styles? It is expecting to do Tailwind. Is React. But is it though? I am concerned, friends. Okay, we can't wait any longer for this. It has taken so long. Hey, what's going on? Okay. What I'm going to do, because I don't want this recording to go much longer than it needs to go, I'm going to do my normal sign off. And then I'm going to stick around for a couple more minutes while I wait for Google to finish its marathon here. I wonder how many tokens it's used. Can it tell me how many tokens it's used before I do that? But that way I can stop the recording, but I can keep streaming and figure this out. So that's it for this stream. I hope, or sorry. Dang, man. That's it for this video. I do hope that you found this video helpful in assessing the differences between Bloom and other products. This is just one man's opinion though, so be sure to go out and check it out for yourself at bloom.chat. I'll have a link to that in the description, and there's actually a link to that now in the description for you who are watching on the live stream. But don't forget, you can subscribe to my newsletter, Next in Dev. You can find a link to that also in the description, as well as my website, nlvcodes.com, where you can subscribe to my newsletter. You can find my Discord server, or you can become a member via Patreon or YouTube membership. Either way, your support means so much to me, and I look forward to connecting with you all in different platforms. So that's it for this one. Again, I'm going to stick around for a little bit for the live stream, but that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. All right, I'm going to stop recording, but I'm going to keep chatting. So I see we have a non-tech guy. Are you just looking around for what technology is working right now, or what's going on? I'm going to switch to my screen with face so we can see Google chug along here as we figure it out. Should I learn N8N now? I have not messed around with N8N a whole lot. I do hear good things about it, and I hear that it can automate a lot of different things in people's lives. I will say that even as someone who would not, so even just thinking as a non-technical user, I don't know if I would use N8N, but I don't know why. If I don't think that makes sense. But yeah, you can learn it now, but I think Claude can take care of most of that for you. I would more or less learn how to use one of the frontier model LLMs, like either Claude, Code. I've heard good things about Codex. I've not tried Codex, so I can't really speak to that. But N8N does not seem like something to really learn. But that said, I don't know it, so I can't trash it. I can't shill for it, so. All right. So we'll have a polished version of this up a little bit later as well. Man, Google is really taking its time here. All right. Man, Google. Man, I'm just really so interested in what it's going to come up with that it's more like a morbid curiosity now at this point. I would like to see what it comes up with. But it's still building out that app. It also has all this Tailwind stuff. Oh, good. There's like a little selection screen here. Does Bloom do that? If I go to code and then... Can I go to the code still? I think I broke everything. It is nice doing something browser-based rather than like my IDE. So all of my resources are not trying to make my computer explode. So I can't click on anything anymore. So let's close that. Okay, there we go. So if I select, doesn't do anything. Still can't restore that. Let's try something that's a little bit more front end. Automatically generated. Yeah, so I like that I can select code and then it selects it for me there. App.tsx is still taking forever to build. V0 I can't do anything with. So that's the end of that. But at this point, I don't even know what the point of waiting for Google now is. Yeah, it's definitely taking its time. I wish I could change the model because this is, oh, it's 20 minutes in. We're done here. So I'm gonna call it quits. This was fun. Check out Bloom, bloom.chat. I think it'll be worth your time compared to what we have with Google here. I might try Google again here soon with a lighter model, but we will see. That is a good idea. I will do that. So thanks everyone for watching. Again, I'll see you in the next one.